I don't know what more you people want, honestly. Well, actually, I do. It's knockouts. Xander Zayas, while he looked impressive against Patrick Teixeira on Puerto Rican Day Parade weekend, did not win by knockout. It was a dominant win. Let's put that out there first. Unanimous decision victory. Two judges had it 100-90. Another had it 99-91. I was at the fight at Xander Zayas' press conference also, and Xander Zayas said wanted to get him out of there. Patrick Teixeira knew how to survive, is what he said.
It was a tough test. He knew how to survive in there. We got him hurt, I think, in round 8. He got in the bicycle. I couldn't get to him. I couldn't cut the distance, but overall it was a great experience. Got him hit, shot out 10 rounds in the bank. Before you go 12, you gotta go 10. I did it against a former world champion. Showcase that I'm in the next level, and I want the big name from now on.
Now, before we talk about just the overarching themes of this, because there's a lot of criticism and there's love, there's just some divisiveness coming from this fight and this performance by Xander Zayas in particular. The good, body shots when he committed, Xander Zayas was very effective. I actually think there were some body punches left on the table in the early rounds, but he ended up going to it, and then Patrick Teixeira did a good job of sort of shelling up and making sure that he wasn't getting pounded to the body as much. However, Xander Zayas still landed 76 total body punches. Patrick Teixeira landed 63 total punches. So Xander Zayas was effective to the body. Most Puerto Ricans are, we know this. Left hooks, straight right hands, sometimes in combination. Some uppercuts in there too, but a lot of left hooks and a lot of right hooks as well, which I heard from my seat. Second row and the media row, and yeah, there were some thumpers, that's for sure. He clearly studied that the right hand would be there. Patrick Teixeira was susceptible to the right hand. He was rocked by Carlos Adames with that right hand, and when Curtis Stevens stopped him in his only stoppage loss several years ago, it started with the right hand. So Patrick Teixeira had that in his sort of weakness, and Xander Zayas knew it, attacked him with the right hand. It was his most successful punch of the night. Right hands over the top, right hooks in particular. Some straight rights, but it was mostly right hooks and those looping shots he was able to find a home for. And defensively, I thought Xander Zayas was mostly sharp. And I think that's what separates him from a prospect. If we're going to compare Puerto Rican to Puerto Rican, him and Edgar Berlanga, he's better defensively. We'll see as he steps up in competition and continues to do so. But I think that's the good of the performance in a nutshell. The bad, I think if he cuts off the ring a little bit better, we're probably talking about him getting a stoppage in the 8th round or so. There's a lot of following Patrick Teixeira around, and look, I give Patrick Teixeira credit, knew how to survive, and he was trying to survive. Like, he was just moving around the ring, shifting at different points, pivoting and just getting away from Xander Zayas at all costs, trying to create that range. And Xander Zayas was on him the entire time, but I think if he corners him and takes advantage of him when he has him in the corner, because he had him in the corner in several different instances, and then it will be punch, and Patrick Teixeira will figure out how to slip away or how to clinch when they're at mid-range or so. Xander Zayas probably could have used some other tactics to try to get him off him. It's a great learning experience against a veteran who's 12 years older than you, who's been a champion, who's been boxing for a lot longer. Xander Zayas is 21 years old. By the time we see him again, he'll probably be 22 years old, but he's still very, very young. He was signed as a teenager. And to me, he's been improving consistently. This is about what you would want to see. I mean, you'd want a knockout, sure, but it was overall a really good performance. There's questions about his punching power. You see this online. He doesn't appear to be a huge, devastating Felix Trinidad and Miguel Cotto type of puncher. I think if he's not, that's okay. People need to reclassify how they look at him as a prospect. I don't think he's a huge, monstrous puncher the way people would say a Virgil Ortiz is in the same weight class. What Xander Zayas is a great all-around talent. He's a very good boxer, offensively and defensively. He doesn't have a big weakness. He has a lot of skills. He's not just somebody who is a huge puncher. He can move around the ring. He has skill. He has a great jab when he commits to it. Body shots, can defend himself. People want him to be a huge puncher. I think he can punch, clearly. He's not a Virgil Ortiz level puncher. That's fine. But I do think defensively, Xander Zayas is sharper than a lot of these dudes that we're going to see him fighting against. And I think that's going to be an advantage for him. We'll see what happens as he steps up in competition and he actually gets tagged by somebody, like if he fights Erickson Lubin and he eats one of those left hands over the top. We'll see how he reacts to it. But so far, He's shown to be sharp defensively. But this is the thing about boxing. You don't always need knockouts to win. You don't. You just need to win. And he didn't get the knockout, but what more can you ask than he dominates every single round, or just about every single round. One judge gave 1 round to Patrick Teixeira, but I didn't see that. And to me, it was a shutout. He won basically every minute of the fight, and it was a dominant performance. He outboxed a former world champion every round, a former world champion who beat Carlos Adames at this same weight class, 154, in late 2019. Carlos Adames is currently a middleweight champion of the world. Lastly, what's next for Xander Zayas? He probably gets another one of these fights first. I don't think he's going to fight for a world title yet at 22. So within a year or so, I think he's going to get that title shot. So you would like to see him fight a Vito Mielnicki Jr., who Top Rank just signed. That's a fight that makes sense. Maybe that's one that they let marinate a little bit more. Maybe that's Xander Zayas' first title defense down the line. Maybe that's a WBO eliminator eventually, because, you know, Vito Mielnicki is now with Top Rank, so he'll rise up the WBO rankings. And then we'll see him fight Xander Zayas in the fight to determine who's going to fight for a championship. Maybe that's it. He's going to fight Vito Mielnicki at some point. Erickson Lubin, who on Instagram doesn't think Xander Zayas is that guy. That's fine. I think they would put on an entertaining fight. That'd be a big step up in competition. And it'd be a good test to see where Lubin is as well right now in his career, but also where Xander Zayas is clearly in his progression. And then you have Josh Kelly, who's another contender in this division, and Charles Conwell, who's still undefeated, who recently returned with an impressive victory. So there are some names here. I think maybe Top Rank finds another veteran first, finds another Patrick Teixeira type of dude to see if Xander Zayas progresses a little bit before throwing him in with somebody who's a legit, highly rated contender right this second. But it's coming, it's close, and Xander Zayas is going to, I think, become a champion, but I think that title shot is going to be there soon. And I think people need to stop overreacting. Like, he boxed very, very well against a former world champion who knew how to survive. He's still progressing. He's only 21 years old. And I think he's going to be a world champion. And I still think he's going to be really, really good. That's all we have for today. Make sure that you like, comment, subscribe. If you disagree, let me know, and we could argue about it. No, I'm kidding. We could talk about it. I'm not here for the stupid YouTube comment arguments, but do feel free. Just don't be a dick about it. Other than that, we'll be back very soon. Maybe with some NBA Finals content, maybe with more boxing content, or whatever you want. Let me know. Take care.